Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Ron Mars. You are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights,
no evil shall escape my sight.
But those who worship evil's might,
beware my power.
GreenLantern's light.
Hello and welcome back to Sector 2814, the Green Lantern podcast. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, Master of the Core, and once again, comic book mastermind. It is.
Hi, Will. Hey, everyone. I'm glad to see that made it, Phil.
I was going to say, yes, if you're on YouTube, yes, look for the product placement. Crossover Division number 4 is out.
Lots of packages have been made.
Whoa! All right, so yes, tonight we'll be discussing Green Lantern 156, 157, and of course, like we said, Cosmic Odyssey, because if you know anything about John Stewart's past, hey, you know some big thing happens there. Yeah. But anyway, so yes, Will has a new issue out, Crossover Division number 4, so... And I haven't had a chance to sit down for a thorough reading yet. I was able to flip through it so far, but did I see we're getting a number 5 sometime?
Yes, it'll probably be late this year, but in the interim, we're going to do a hardcover of the first 4. So the first story arc will get a hardcover.
Oh,
so
nice.
That's what I'm going to start working on as soon as I finish the last 30 packages that I have to send out.
That was going to be my next question. Did you mail everything out? So you got 30 more, huh?
Yep, 30 left.
Does that include Australia?
That includes Australia, yeah. There's... I usually do the international packages last, just because there's so much more.
I was going to say, I'm sure they're so easy. I'm sure, yeah.
Seems like I'm getting a package every other day.
But to be fair, I do all. So whenever somebody backs the physical comic, I always make sure that they get the digital reward too. I mean, that's just so everybody in the world has got it digitally if they want it, as a PDF. So physical just takes longer.
So if certain people outside the country want to buy it, they can read it digitally before their physical copy comes, if they would like.
Exactly. I wonder who might.
Sounds like a blind Jan. Sounds like a blind Jan.
Exactly.
And then meanwhile, again, if you haven't heard me crowing about this everywhere else, yes, if you missed my and Rob Southgate's interview with Mr. Todd Stashwick, you can catch it on the Capes and Lunatics YouTube channel, and then hit the Capes and Lunatics podcast on Monday. So yes, Capes and Lunatics episode 290 with, like I said in the interview, I did talk to him in 2014, so old and new friend of the show. Yes, Mr. Todd Stashwick.
If I remember correctly, he was also the first interview you ever did, if I remember
that
episode correctly.
It was way back in 2014, I've only been a couple months in, I think, yeah. Because he did a guest appearance. Well, he did is it 2 or 3 episodes, I think, on Gotham. He played Black Mask, yeah. And again, like I said, he treated me very nicely, even though, again, my first interview, I haven't listened back, so I'm sure it's a bunch of, Can you?
Good cool interview, man.
Thank you. Yes, it was nice and easy. And again, he's been doing a ton of interviews, but I think ours is going to be very original because, yes, for those of you who don't know, Mr. Robert Southgate did go to high school with Todd, so they're reminiscing, and yes, you might hear information about a young Todd you may not have heard anywhere else. So
nice.
So ha.
Everybody else.
That's right. Did you watch the second episode of Picard season 3?
Yes, I have seen it.
Play
that order.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, unless they're giving us a big red herring, spoilers, you were right.
And we got another introduction as well, right?
Oh, at the end, yes.
Yeah.
told you to
think-
stand down. Yes.
Yeah, I think I like that they're slowly. Spoilers again. So if you don't want to hear this, I'm going to talk about what's going on. I like that they're slowly putting the band back together. Not, boom, everybody's coming back together all at once, and then they go do the thing. I'm one of the things that I kind of had a problem with in season 2 was how the plots didn't really seem to mesh. It was like, let's go, whatever. I hope that doesn't happen with this, and I think I'm confident that it won't. But we've got some plot threads weaving in here.
Yeah,
I hope I'm looking forward to see how they pay off.
Yeah. Well, again, Raffi meets up with a certain someone, so I believe, that's that thread is gonna get tied into the main plot here any time now. And again, the band will be back together, because I did ask Todd. That's one of my questions for friend of the show, Todd Stashwick, was did you have any scenes with the full Next Generation cast? And he said yes. So.
Well, and I was thinking about that from and I don't know. This would have been a good question to ask him.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming into a situation where these people have literally worked together for decades.
Yes.
Right. So, he as an actor is coming into that, but then also to bring his character in to that as well. I think it was really smart to make him antagonistic to that. Because he's coming into that whole situation.
Not even just working with them as a character, did you hear when he was just like, he's talking to Patrick Stewart? One, again, just talking to Patrick Stewart, but then two, it's like, oh, hey, Brent Spiner, come over here and meet Todd. It's like,
absolutely.
So, oh my God, we have friends in common with Patrick Stewart.
This is Todd Stashwick, a.k.a. Captain Liam Shaw of the Starship Titan, and you are listening to Capes and Lunatics.
Nice. Very nice.
Oh my God. So
yeah.
Oh my God. So now anytime we talk about Patrick Stewart, we can be like, friend of a friend.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart, Jerry Ryan, any of the Next Generation cast. Yes.
Nice. Very nice. So that's what you've been up to, man.
Yes.
That was an okay week. Right?
Yes. And again, you've been mailing out Crossover Division. That's what you've been up to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, did you watch Quantum Leap? It was on last night.
Yes, that was the family.
Yes.
Yes.
The restaurant. Yeah.
The restaurant. Yeah. We just watched it a little bit ago. We haven't watched the latest episode of The Last of Us yet. So we watched Quantum Leap because I'm like, well, Last of Us is going to be heavier, so I don't want to do that right before the show.
Oh, but next week Brandon Routh is in. Yes.
Okay, now that looked like he was World War II, but
I thought it said was it the 80s maybe or 90s?
Okay.
I think
know.
Yeah, it's
okay because I didn't know if it said any. I didn't notice it on the show itself. I guess we'll get there.
Well, it can't be too old because I believe Brandon Routh is playing Addison's father, so it can't be World War II. Yeah,
can't be World War II. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, they're
Nice.
getting some good sci-fi guests on that show. Robert Picardo, Brandon Routh.
Yeah, they've done some sci-fi things, right?
A few, yes.
Just a few.
I saw an article. They were like interviewing Brandon Routh. He was like, I don't know what it is about me and time travel shows.
It just happens, right? Nice.
All right, so should we jump into these because we do have 6 issues tonight?
You bet.
And we're going to be breaking down Cosmic Odyssey.
Yeah, how do you want to do that? I mean,
I don't know. Should we save Cosmic Odyssey or should we do it in chronological order? Do Cosmic Odyssey first? I don't know.
I don't have a whole lot to say about either of the regular Green Lantern issues.
Okay.
So maybe we just do those really quick and get them out of the way, and then we can really dive into Cosmic Odyssey.
Oh, there's
a
fine.
lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, that's fine, especially since I don't have any synopsis for the two for like Green Lantern issues. So let's do those. All right. So yes, we'll start with Green Lantern number 156. Yeah, it's so weird. We're in the Cal era, but there's really like no Cal. Well, except for like the last couple pages of the second issue. Yeah, there's really no Cal tonight. All right, so yes, Green Lantern 156 from January 2003, Walking Tall. Writer Judd Winnick, penciler Dale Eaglesham, inker Rodney Ramos, colorist Moose Bauman, letterer Kurt Hathaway, and editors Bob Schreck and Morgan Dawn Tanville. All right, so, yeah, like I said, I don't have a synopsis for this, but yes, we see John Stewart is back. He's got his ring.
Yeah, and it's great seeing John, in the costume, but there's not a lot that happens in this issue, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, nothing of cosmic import. I mean, in the beginning, we see him stopping what looks like smugglers, but again, it's like human traffic. Well,
yeah, human traffickers.
Yeah, basically, these people were in this cargo container for weeks, almost like starved to death and stuff. And then we see John playing chess with Alan Scott and saying, it's
felt like killing them, yeah.
He's like, well, yeah, one, I thought about, I really wanted to kill them. And two, it's like, it's kind of ironic, Cal just lost his faith in humanity. And,
yeah. Taking some dark turns, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so after that, well, and then they stop a drive-by,
yes.
I guess.
Yeah. It's, very, very down to earth, this issue.
And then he goes and sees Fatality, which,
I don't know what was worse when it seemed like she was trying to seduce him, or she's like, "Haha, I didn't." He's like, "Well, thank you. If you hadn't told me about that weakness, I wouldn't have looked into my back. I wouldn't be walking again and stuff." Yeah. And she was like, "Haha, you stupid fool! I didn't do it to help you. I wanted you at full strength so I could kill you. Haha."
Yeah. Too bad she doesn't have a mustache she could twirl.
Exactly.
Right? However, so she is from Xanshi, correct?
Yes.
John Stewart, when he and the Martian Manhunter in Cosmic Odyssey number 2 or number 1?
I think it's 2.
2. When they land on Xanshi, he goes, yeah, they're cannibalistic.
Yes, I did that. Yes, I do remember that. Oh, yeah, we're going to get there in a few minutes. Yes, I did see that. I was like, oh.
Really? That's odd. Very odd.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine if, like, the first time she showed up, Cal's like, what's this barbecue pit doing in the middle of a ship? Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, she literally says, I helped you, John Stewart, so I could kill you. And that is all I want.
Yeah, which gets even weirder. There was a Mosaic Comics does a podcast. You and I have talked about it before. He did a kind of a retrospective on Fatality on his latest episode. And
yes.
It's pretty screwed up, okay? I mean, the Star Sapphires get her, and they fall in love with John. Then she gets she's replaced by a Skrull. I'm sorry, a Durlan. Yeah, it's all kinds.
Oh, we're gonna get there eventually.
All kinds of screwed up.
Yeah, so there's that, and then basically John stops like a mugging at the end of the issue, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Stop some street crime. Gets threatened by fatality. That's your issue, kids.
There it is.
Oh, and then Alan says, "Oh, you're gonna take Cal's place in the JLA," and then John's like, "Oh, they have to ask me first," which I guess they do because I do believe he does take Cal's place.
Yep. For a while.
I'd say. I mean,
actually,
at least until
for the duration, yeah, until Hal comes back.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I was gonna say pretty much till Hal comes back. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I didn't realize that, but yeah.
Because I'm trying to remember the last few issues. I don't know if they even had a Green Lantern in it, but it's like, yeah, pretty much. Once John Stewart jumps in the JLA, he's like the Green Lantern in JLA till like pretty much the end. So till they reboot or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, awesome. Till they reboot again. Yeah.
So thoughts on this issue again? It's pretty much just, oh yeah, he's back.
It's good to see John back, but there's not a lot of substance to this issue. I mean, really, it's just kind of, well, this happens and this happens and this happens. It doesn't seem to be building to anything or.
Which, yeah, I mean, it's great that John's back, but it's just like, I guess, he's doing what Kyle told him to do because Kyle's off in space. He's like, here, defend Earth. So I guess that's what he's doing, defending Earth.
Yeah, and at the very beginning, he talks about, hey, I'm going to protect this city. I'm like, dude, you used to protect the whole space sector. Okay.
I think you can handle a whole planet, yes.
Yeah, I think you can handle a city, too, and we have established that a space sector is infinitely large, okay?
And I'm sure there's no other superheroes in New York.
No, there's not at all.
No.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's really a shame.
So, any other thoughts on this, or should we just get to the other one?
Let's go to the next one.
Yeah. I was reading these, and I was kind of disappointed, and I'm just like, I was so nostalgic for do the cow stuff before we got the rebirth, but then I'm like, I guess I was just nostalgic for the Ron Mars stuff, I guess.
Yeah, and I was kind of weird because I wasn't nostalgic for the Mars stuff because they took Halloway, so I was grumpy about that.
Yeah,
and I was looking forward to the Judd Winnick run,
mm-hmm.
and after going back with you and rereading the Ron Mars stuff, like this is really good, well structured, comics. It's good, and then expecting the Judd Winnick to be good or better, and being pretty disappointed so far.
Well, again,
sorry.
It's your opinion, and again, I mean, it's almost over. We're almost at the Ben Robb stuff, so.
Yeah, and this issue's by Jay Farber, 157.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Green Lantern 157, February 2003. Girl Talk by writer Jay Farber, penciler Jamal Eagle, inker Scott Elmer, colorist Moose Bauman, letterer John Babcock, and editors Bob Schreck and Lisa Hawkins. And basically the synopsis: Jade and Donna Troy defeat Killer Frost, discuss Kyle Rayner, and become friends.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Again, there's not a lot of meat and potatoes here either. And again, it's weird because, well, this issue is even weirder because this, we see Jade on Earth, and again, we see Kyle at the end, on Earth because this is the first.
It takes place
page.
Before issue 148. Yep.
Which is weird because it's like, I know he hadn't. I don't know if I guess he hadn't gone full Ion yet, but when we see Kyle again, the last page or two of this issue, it's like he seems pretty normal. He doesn't seem like all Ion-y.
When did he go full Ion? Was that 149 or was it 148? Because he was like Ion for two or three issues.
Was it? Yeah. I was gonna say, was that one? It was either 148 or 149, and the one where he's getting in Superman's face and stuff.
Yeah, and it makes sense why they set this before issue 148.
Yeah.
So he's not full Ion yet. Okay.
I guess, but yeah. So yeah, we see Jade wake up, and Cal's not there.
Mm-hmm.
JLA beeper went off at 3:30 a.m. I'm off to South Africa. So Jade's making herself some coffee and sees on the news, Killer Frost is attacking. Oh, and also because another reason we set this before 148, Jade still has the ring.
That's right.
Which I don't know what difference that would make, but you know what? I was wondering, I'm like, why set this before 148? Because it's like, couldn't we set this, as long as you said, this takes place before like 154, 155? I mean, couldn't it have taken place somewhere in the between 151 and 153?
Yeah, just don't give her the ring. But
yeah, just have her under her own power and stuff. But I wonder, do you think
the ring is a plot point at the end of it? Remember?
True. Yeah. And too, I was wondering, do you think this was maybe like a stock story they had sitting on the shelf? Maybe.
It feels like a fill-in story, doesn't it? I mean, it really does.
So I just wonder if maybe Jay Farber wrote this around that time, and it's just like, okay, well, we can use this, but we just got to throw in the blurb, hey, this takes place back then.
Yeah.
So Killer Frost is will help put out a fire, but then Jade's like, oh, you broke out of jail, I must take you back.
Yeah, why? She's not misbehaving, like, hey, she just saved people, so maybe she's trying to change. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
Well, yeah, I guess she's an escaped convict, but
yeah. Couldn't she single-handedly help with global warming?
True.
Sorry.
And again, that was another Jay Farber issue, but yeah, I mean, we saw Killer Frost last in that. What was that like? What was it?
Neuron. Not Neuron.
No, Effigy. Is it Effigy?
Effigy. Yeah, it's Effigy. Yeah.
Was it like 127 or something? Yeah, when remember that one we didn't see Cal until like halfway through the issue.
Yeah, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna be awesome together." No, wait, no, we're not. Okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna break up now.
Cal
broke up and...
Well, Cal just takes her down. He's like, Effigy's like, silly woman.
Yeah.
And then he flies off and at some point gets captured by the controllers.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, Killer Frost basically, I guess, collapses a building on Jade, but then Donna Troy shows up and digs her out. And then they fighty some more.
Yeah, and then they get together and have coffee at Radu's.
I know. I was going to say, we saw Radu. It's been a while.
It has. It's been I don't think we've seen him since Ron Mars left the book, right?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, if we have, I mean, it really doesn't make it that much of an impression.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably pre-IO, and I mean, if Winnick did have him, it was probably early in the run.
I don't know. I'd have to look back.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't know that I'm that interested to look back.
I know. But Rat is just like, Donna. That Cal and his women.
That's a problematic statement. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So they're talking, and, the whole, Jade tells her, oh, he proposed to me with the Green Lantern ring, and Donna's, Donna's like, no, we were just rebound, and, you guys are meant to be together.
Okay.
We'll see when Ron Mars comes back. That
didn't last. Forever's not what it used to be.
Yes. Then he tries to steal Hal's woman. Spoilers.
Yeah, I haven't read that stuff yet.
Well, we'll get there. So they're all bonding, and then we see Kyle walk in, and Radu's like, come quick, look. A picture is worth many words. So Kyle tries to sneak out, and they're like, Kyle. That's when Dawn offers to give past Jade some photography work. Oh, that's the other conversation. They're just like, what is it with Cal and photographers? We're both photographers. Alex was a photographer. Yeah. You ever noticed? But then, of course, the story ends. It's like, Cal's like, why are you having coffee with my ex-girlfriend? That's like, no, that's my friend. Once again, another friendship I don't think we ever really see anything, anything done with after this.
No.
Well, again, it's a fill-in issue, so.
Yeah.
And again, our main writer, we're about to change main writers, too, so.
Yes, which is going to be, it's not Jay Farber, because he did the fill-in.
No, Ben Robb.
Ben Robb,
yeah.
That's right.
Again, I'm trying to remember. I can somewhat remember the stories, but not if the quality. So, guess we'll find out.
I guess so.
I kind of like not having read them for a while. Kind of keeps it fresh. Oh, there's some of this. I don't know why you want to keep it fresh. All right. So, should we talk Cosmic Odyssey?
Let's do it, because I have issues.
Judd Winnick's like, yeah, go rip on someone else.
Right. And I don't mean to pick on Winnick. It's just I really don't feel this title was really leaning into his strengths as a writer.
No,
and I think it was his first ongoing series too, unless I'm wrong. I mean, I could be wrong.
And I'm like, why Green Lantern? I think maybe something more street level would have been more hit. He really could have gotten into.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it seems like the more human side of stuff he was interested in writing than the cosmic side. So yeah, somebody with I don't want to always come back to Batman, but something street level like that,
mm-hmm.
might have been more.
Well, and he did go over to Green Arrow.
Yes,
I believe.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So, I haven't read those, so I can't speak to that.
I have read them. It's been a long time, but from what I remember, I believe those were better. So I think my point was proven. But yeah, it's been a while for those two. But yeah, I believe I did enjoy his run over there more. But again, it's no
Batman, my favorite character.
Oh, you might like this series, Ray. Batman gets his ass kicked.
Into the Dark Knight, all to do with Batman.
All right, kids, time to do the time warp, because we're going to do Cosmic Odyssey, which begins in Cosmic Odyssey #1, December 1988.
Woohoo!
So
I remember 1988. Yes, I'm old.
Me too. I was 10.
I was older than 10.
I know. Writer Jim Starlin, penciler Mike Mignola, inker Carlos Garzon, colorist Steve Oliff, letterer John Workman, and editor Mike Carlin. A quiet street of Gotham City, we're getting right into it, suddenly explodes with the sound of a boom tube as a militant group of apocalyptic stormtroopers mobilize quickly, attempting to set up a force field generator to secure their first line of defense. Their plans are abruptly ruined as Superman and Light Ray appear and force the invaders to retreat back from whence they came. The two heroes leave, failing to notice one trooper did not make it back through the boom tube. Above a barren planet on the rim of Alpha Centauri, a boom tube opens and the Mobius chair crash lands on the wasteland, carrying the unconscious Metron. Nothing ever good comes with Metron.
I know.
Very little time passes before another thunderous gateway announces the arrival of Darkseid, who sets four of his techno chiefs to gather all the information the chair holds. On Apocalypse, after researching the data, Darkseid ponders the imminent threat the universe faces and begrudgingly admits the need for outside help. Back in Gotham City,
Batman
meets with Commissioner Gordon regarding a spat of disappearances, including the most recent, Officer Joe Bester. The dark detective uses himself as bait before heading into the sewers, where he follows a trail to a makeshift lair and the grisly meat locker of human corpses. In the confines of the tunnels, Batman hides as he hears a sound approaching from behind. The apocalyptic trooper is a much larger and more powerful foe. But ignoring common sense, Batman kicks the gun from its hand. The alien is too strong for the human, throwing him aside before drawing a blade. In desperation, Batman picks up the alien weapon and blasts a hole through the lunging enemy's torso. That's his answer for any apocalyptic threat. Let's shoot it.
Shoot it, yep.
By the time Batman returns to the scene with Gordon, the alien corpse has vanished. Lonar arrives as an emissary at the White House, requesting a list of Earth heroes to act as ambassadors to New Genesis. With Superman's help, Batman, the Martian Manhunter, Starfire, John Stewart, and an elderly man named Jason Blood gather at the Capitol, where Lonar transports them to his homeworld. They are greeted by Highfather, Orion, Light Ray, and more disturbingly, Darkseid. Oh yeah, we didn't see the last him, kids. Highfather explains that they all must work together to avert a terrible crisis. It always is a crisis. In the Garden of Tranquility, Highfather regales the heroes with the history of the anti-life equation and how trying to harness it for war set off a chain reaction that nearly destroyed all existence. Only two worlds orbiting a single star survived the ravages of the anti-life before it imploded: New Genesis and Apocalypse. John asks how it concerns them specifically, allowing Darkseid to explain that Metron's lust for knowledge has unleashed the threat once more. But with Metron's catatonic state, many details are missing. Jean understands his role in the selection of heroes and reaches out to Metron's mind, uncovering the shocking revelation that the anti-life is a sentient entity trapped in a pocket dimension. Metron was unable to reverse the equation in time, and four aspects of the entity escaped into their realm. I did like how they explained it, where it's like, Apocalypse and New Genesis are in their own little bubble. Yeah. That's why you go to boom tube in and out. That's like the only way in and out. Using data from the Mobius chair, Darkseid tracks the course of the four aspects, tracing them to Earth, Ron, Thanagar, and Xanchi. Darkseid calculates that if only two of the four planets should be destroyed, the entire Milky Way galaxy will collapse in on itself, which makes perfect sense, and a cosmic upheaval that would potentially allow the entity to cross over. Darkseid splits the heroes into teams of two and provides each a special device to disrupt the energies of the aspects. Superman and Orion leave for Thanagar, Starfire and Light Ray head for Ron. Jean and John are allocated to Xanchi. Batman and Forager are sent to Earth, where Batman immediately makes a phone call to a friend asking him to keep an eye on Darkseid. On New Genesis, the aged Jason Blood hobbles up behind Highfather and Darkseid to inquire why he has been involved. Darkseid reveals Blood's partner, Etrigan, as equally ravaged by time as his former host. Thoughts? And again, I know it's for storytelling purposes, but it's just like, if the threat is as big as they say, why wouldn't you bring in more heroes? Why? We have at least two other Green Lanterns floating around at this point.
Mm-hmm. We have the Teen Titans.
We have
Wonder Woman.
The rest of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We're going to Thanagar. Why don't we call Hawkman?
Yeah, that might be cool. Or Adam Strange, since we're going to,
Yeah, well, I mean, we will see him, but yes, yeah, Ron, yeah.
So, I think this just kind of solidifies for me again, why the new gods don't really appeal to me.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean, and it's fine. I know that they appeal to a lot of people, and that's great. But I think that they work best on their own. When you start mixing them with the rest of the DC universe,
Yeah.
it doesn't do either the heroes of the DC universe any good, and it doesn't do the new gods any good. It lowers them from their high concept of being, the new gods, the fourth world, and everything Kirby built, to being just, superheroes.
Yeah.
Right? And it takes the superheroes and mixes them with it doesn't work. And it doesn't work here, and it doesn't work with Green Lantern.
Again, and again, New Gods, same as with like Eternals, that it really doesn't do much for me either. I don't know if it's the Kirby formula, or I don't know if it's like, I don't know if Kirby's plan was to keep all these, the New Gods, the Eternal. Like if you read the original Eternal series, I mean, they were pretty much in their own bubble in that first series.
Yep.
Like there was
They got integrated into the Marvel universe.
Exactly. And then I just wonder if they're just like, if someone behind the scenes, Stanley or someone, was just like, Jack, you want to sell this book, man, you need to like start, dropping these characters into the rest of the Marvel universe. So maybe that's the whole thing. It's just like originally for both, maybe he was just like, I don't want to mix them with the rest of the toys. And they're like, you know what, you want to do, if you want to keep making books and keep selling,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have them play with the rest of the guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I get you. Oh no, I am behind you 100%.
But having said that, here's what we've got. We've got Mike Mignola on art.
Yes.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this looks like no other book on the stands, right?
Yes.
I mean, and I think the colorist, I don't remember who the colorist was, but the colorist does an amazing job too, darkening the shades so that it works with Mignola's art, right?
Steve Oliff, colorist, yeah.
So, the art's great. I still think it's a little goofy if 4 planets are going to cause the Milky Way to blow up and change the universal constants or some stupid stuff. But whatever, that's the plot, okay?
and only one of them we've never heard of before. I wonder which one's going to get blown up.
I don't know. But I do want to talk about that when we get to issue 2, because I have a question, and I don't know. I want your take on the answer.
Okay. All right, should we jump to number 2 then?
You got it, man.
All right, Cosmic Odyssey number 2, January 1989, book 2, Disaster. Whatever that could be. Same team. On Thanagar, Superman and Orion soon discern that the anti-life aspect is influencing the Thanagarians to attack any intruders. Superman uses just enough of his power to fend them off, while Orion revels in the battle, slaughtering the forces until they retreat. Superman suggests he tone down his excessive force in the future. The Martian Manhunter and John Stewart find that the aspect on Xanshi has infected the population with a deadly plague. John manages to synthesize an elixir with his ring, giving it a locale. He explains that if he drinks it, he will be able to transfuse his blood as a cure. A local. Okay. He gives it to a local. All right. What'd you think of that? He can make a cure for one guy, and he says, just start transfusing your blood. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to work fine.
I'm sure your body holds enough blood for the whole planet.
Just drink more juice. You'll make more blood.
Or unless he does a blood transfusion to one other person, and then those two can. He explains that if he John then finds a native computer console to scan it for information, discovering a weather control station in the Arctic using 10 times the normal amount of power. Further examination reveals the station is now controlling the planet on a greater scale. Meanwhile, on Earth,
Batman
introduces Forager to the Batcave. The reports from the other teams have been collected by the Bat computer, and analyzing the data,
Batman
has a hunch that the aspect will target the Bat computer. Meanwhile, Light Ray leads Starfire to Ranagar, where Jean told them he may find an ally to aid them in finding the aspect. The entire Ranian population has been afflicted with madness as unbridled chaos fills the streets. What is it, Florida? Sorry, Lo. They find Adam Strange, who has resorted to restraining Alana and Sardeth for their own protection. Adam dons his jetpack and accompanies the pair to a manufacturing center called Peltex 5. On New Genesis, Jason Blood is faced with an unthinkable proposal, being reunited with the demon. Highfather regrets asking Blood for such a sacrifice, but he assures he would not ask Blood if such a thing were not essential. Darkseid concurs, warning Blood that the threat of the anti-life entity crossing over is still a threat, even if the heroes succeed in neutralizing the aspects. The barrier between dimensions must be strengthened, but even the combined power of Highfather and Darkseid is not enough. Only by using an elemental being like Etrigan as a conduit can they harness the unbridled power of nature. But the demon must be whole, not the withered shell of his former self. Begrudgingly, Jason accepts the burden. Back on Xanshi, the two heroes race to find the aspect, only to encounter a stormy atmosphere to slow them down. While evading a tornado, Jean is struck by lightning but recovers, whereas the anti-life catcher is not so lucky. Fortunately, John scanned the device with his ring and recreates a construct replica. Shielding themselves from the elements in a cube of light, the pair journey on. Yeah. It's coming, kids. Alright. Meanwhile,
Batman.
Research has uncovered a suspicious amount of exotic deliveries to Moose Jaw, Arizona, but it is in fact that the recently deceased Joe Bester is listed as the receiver, which leaves little room for doubt. Upon reaching the vast factory outside of Ranagar, Adam leads Light Ray and Starfighter to the basement where they discover a gargantua doomsday bomb. The trio separates to try and locate the aspect. Soon after, Light Ray and Starfire hurry to the sound of a scream and find Adam unconscious on the ground. They continue down the hall until they reach a dead end, failing to notice a black substance leaking from the ventilation grate. The violent weather recedes on Xanshi, unable to penetrate Green Lantern's box, but John is taken off guard as they are assaulted from below by a volcanic eruption. The ring protects the partners, but frustrated, John arrogantly accuses Jean of holding him back, and he restrains the Martian in a bubble before leaving to stop the aspect alone. Gardner. John reaches the weather station where, to his dismay, he finds the doomsday bomb has been entirely painted yellow. Completely ineffectual, John's mind wanders to Jean as the last 6 seconds of the countdown. The explosion engulfs half of the planet before the aspect changes the polarity of the core, and Xanshi propels itself into its star, which is destroyed in turn. Among the debris floating where the Pegaron system formerly existed, Jean finds the thoughtless Green Lantern huddled in regret and rebukes him for his unforgivable act before leaving. As knowledge of the failure spreads to New Genesis, Highfather insists now's the time Blood merge back with Etrigan. The two decrepit adversaries meet face to face once more, embracing their destiny and one another until the union is complete and Etrigan in all his malevolent glory stands alone. All right.
Okay. I have issues with this.
Yes, so do I.
All right, so first off, the Martian Manhunter was slowing him down. And when he got there, how many seconds were left?
Was it 6 at least?
4, I think.
Okay.
What was the Martian Manhunter going to do in those 4, or let's be generous, let's say 6 seconds?
Yeah.
What was he going to do in 6 seconds to save that planet?
True.
Now, what John Stewart should have done is put a bubble. It always comes back to Quasar, right? He should have just put a bubble large enough around the bomb and contained the explosion inside it. Because we know a ring can control a supernova, so
yeah, but is yellow shrapnel gonna like punch holes through that bubble though?
Well, yellow shrapnel might, but the energy within it wouldn't, and the energy within it's what did all the damage, right?
Yeah. But I'm just saying, would that punch holes in it just enough to let some energy through though?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it would have worked better than what he did, which was nothing.
I know.
I don't know. It was very contrived. It felt very contrived.
It's like, so what? The anti-life equation knew John was going to be there. A Green Lantern was going to be there. I mean, if they had painted all 4 bombs yellow, I'd be like, okay, just to make sure no Green Lantern could stop him. He painted every bomb yellow. I get it.
Just that one.
Yeah.
How did he know that they were going to go to that one? It does seem kind of contrived.
Yeah. And again, like, didn't you say like previously that originally this might have been like Guy Gardner?
It'd be Guy Gardner, I think. Yeah.
I was thinking about it. You know why they probably didn't do Guy Gardner? Well, one, he was on the Justice League with John Jones. Would John Jones be able to work with him if this had been Guy? And two, that would have changed like the whole tone of the character. Yes. Mm-hmm. So maybe they're just like, we're not going to mess with DeMatteis and them. Yeah.
You can see how, because there's a snide remark early on from John that really sounds like Guy,
Oh, yeah.
Like in issue 1 when they first get onto New Genesis, Forager comes out or something, or there's some snide remark there. I'm like, oh, that's Guy Gardner. Yeah.
There's a few lines in here. I'm like, oh yeah, they just that was supposed to be Guy Gardner. Yeah, I'm sure there was some conversation where it's just like, that's going to mess up stuff in the Justice League book, and
we can't do that. So,
and we can't have Hal Jordan responsible for the deaths of people.
No, there might have to be a rebirth involved if that happened. And we're not doing that till 2005.
No, Hal Jordan would never let people die by his hand or others. No.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. That is all of them should have been painted yellow.
Yes.
Then this would have made more sense. But I mean, I still don't. I mean, Martian Manhunter seems very judgmental. What was he going to do to save the planet?
I know.
4 or 6 seconds.
Or maybe too, it's like maybe if John hadn't taken the time to bubble him up, he would have had more time to think of something to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's again, and that of the 4 places that they go, that seems the most contrived. I mean, the way that all of them beat the bomb, right?
Yeah.
Superman's is really the most straightforward. And it does set up, I think, Orion slaughtering a whole bunch of Thanagarians, which, would kind of annoy,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're gonna get to all that, but again, I get it. I mean, I guess they don't want to mess with the tone of the JLI and stuff, which was more lighthearted and stuff. But like, I would have been interested if this had happened to Guy. Like, how would this have sobered up the character? Would he have gotten more serious and like not as much of an ass as he was like back then?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, it's.
And then, like, the ring is like John can feel all those people dying.
That was weird. I don't know that that's ever.
I'm like, I mean, I know you have to have willpower to, use one of these rings, but I'm like millions of people dying. I mean, shouldn't anyone who felt all that at once gone insane?
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just I feel like Green Lantern was ill used in this.
Yeah.
In fact, after this, we barely see him again except in the final issue.
Yeah.
Where he decides not to commit suicide.
And again, it's a threat to the universe. Why aren't we calling in anyone who has a power ring? And there's at least 2 more Earthmen with power rings.
Where are the Guardians? Don't they know anything about this?
Was this when they were away?
Oh, they may have been gone. Yeah.
Because I think this might have been before the road back. So yeah, I don't think the Guardians are back yet. So yeah, I don't think the Guardians know what's going on. But you knew enough to call 1 Green Lantern. You couldn't call at least 2 more,
or 3 or 4. I mean, because Kilowog and the rest of them,
yes.
I think were and I think Katma was still alive at this point.
I don't.
Was that 89 for the?
Well, no, it was Action Comics Weekly was 88 because it was the 50th anniversary of Action Comics #1, I believe. Yeah.
So this could have been done before she died, or could have been done just right after.
I mean, he said something like, "Oh, I'm sorry," that last issue. Sorry, Katma. But so I was like, wait a minute, hold on, let me look this up. Yeah, because that first issue was December 88, right? Okay, Action Comics 601, the infamous issue, was May 1988. So
it already.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been around like 6-7 months since she got killed. Yeah. So okay. So in the span of like 6 months, we've put him through. His wife has been killed. We're doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't seem very fair to this character.
No.
Does it?
and then he's going to get his mind messed with more when the old timer comes back. And
oh yeah. And becomes a Guardian, and then becomes not a Guardian,
and then forgets he's a Guardian. Yeah. They go the Dallas route. Oh, must have been a dream.
Must have been a dream.
All right. Want to get to number 3?
You bet.
All right. Cosmic Odyssey number 3, February 1989. Book 3, Decisions, by the same team. With Adam Strange unconscious, Starfire stays with him at the Doomsday device while Light Ray continues his search for the elusive aspect. As soon as he leaves, Corey notices a trail of liquid on the ground. She examines the substance, which smells like gasoline. Failing to notice the green ooze take form behind her, attacking her with a piece of heavy machinery. On Thanagar, Orion is discontent with Superman's cautious approach of investigation. Observing a city swarming with mind-controlled soldiers from a distance, Superman instructs Orion to draw attention above ground while he locates the anti-life aspect by boring a tunnel beneath the city. Back on Ron, Light Ray uses his electromagnetic spectrum vision to attack the aspect, returning him to the stellar disruptor where Starfire lies as unconscious as Strange. Light Ray flies to her aid but is blindsided by a piece of machinery slamming into his back. He scrambles for the anti-life catcher, which was knocked loose, but the aspect, possessing a protoplasmic life form, destroys it. Anti-life catcher, so yeah. The Ghostbusters are trying to catch it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Don't cross the stream.
Exactly. Superman crashes into a basement below the city and uses his X-ray vision to locate the Doomsday device beneath him. He breaks into the chamber, housing the device, but is ambushed by a towering robot possessed by the aspect, which punches him across the room. Light Ray's photon blasts are too slow for the unbelievable speed the shapeshifter uses. It escapes into a drainage grate to then creep up behind the new god, launching him into the ceiling. As Light Ray falls limp, the aspect initiates the primer countdown of 120 seconds. Starfire opens her eyes and surreptitiously flies Adam Strange and Light Ray to safety before returning to face the aspect. The shapeshifter evades her starbolts with effortless fluidity before grabbing hold of her, which comes as no surprise to the warrior princess. In Moose Jaw, Arizona, Batman and Forager survey a desert butte from the roadside where they have traced the deliveries addressed to deceased officer Joe Bester. Forager assumes the aspect has possessed Bester's corpse, but Batman believes the apocalyptic stormtrooper he faced in Gotham City is a more likely candidate. Superman strikes hard, but the attacking robot is unrelenting. When the automaton is crippled, Superman aims the anti-life catcher towards it, containing the aspect and rendering the machine inert. The Man of Steel destroys the weapon of mass destruction with his heat vision and informs New Genesis of his victory. Highfather relays the report to Darkseid, who in turn insists the risk is too great to not face the anti-life entity head-on. Highfather rejects such a hasty decision and leaves to ponder the matter. His thought is interrupted by an ally sent by Batman, who informs Highfather that Darkseid's schemes service only his wants. Superman bursts upward, hoping to find that the Thanagarians have been released from the aspect's influence, but what he faces is sheer horror as the streets are strewn with the dead as Orion hovers over the carnage. Disgusted by Orion's bloodthirsty massacre of innocent victims, Superman punches Orion from his astro harness in a rage. Orion shrugs it off and departs for home alone, leaving Superman to bury the dead. Light Ray recovers in a storage room next to Strange and rushes to find Starfire. He arrives to see her limp body suspended in the grasp of the aspect as the timer ticks down. With only seconds until detonation, Light Ray prepares a photon blast, but Starfire flies into action to get him out of harm's way. According to her plan, Corey's fiery flight path ignites the petroleum-based creature the aspect possessed, which explodes violently, destroying the Doomsday Bomb. Adam Strange emerges from the rubble and joins the others, thanking Starfire for saving Ron, but his gratitude is interrupted by the aspect in its true form escaping into the sky. Light Ray and Starfire attempt to chase it, but the entity moves faster than the speed of light and vanishes.
Wait a minute. Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
Isn't Light Ray like the god of speed?
Yeah.
Okay, please continue.
Their success reaches Darkseid, yet the Dark Tyrant expresses his doubts about the loose aspect to Etrigan and how the need, more than ever, to face the anti-life entity at the source. The demon senses the evil in Darkseid, but concedes that the universe is in true peril. A boom tube opens before Highfather, and he welcomes back Orion, who has also recovered the Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern. Highfather chides Orion for being so hard on their failure, but John agrees with him, wallowing in self-pity after his cocky bullheadedness and reliance on the ring led to the destruction of a solar system. As John walks away in shame, Highfather kindly suggests that Jean watch over his friend. Inside the lab, Darkseid straps Etrigan and himself into a dimensional harness and without consulting the others flips a switch, distorting reality and displacing them into the dark void where they face the anti-life entity. Highfather and Orion enter the lab to discover Darkseid has recklessly gone after the entity. Highfather's consternation is somewhat assuaged as the ally Batman sent addresses the two and offers them a hand, which they take, knowing the risk they must face to try and stop it from consuming all. The three vanish in a burst of light. The lab is not empty for long as the aspect that escaped Ron arrives and attaches itself to the cable of the dimensional harness. In Moose Jaw, hidden in a cave beneath a butte, or butt, the possessed corpse of the... I know. I tried. Uranus. I know. I tried. In Moose Jaw, hidden in a cave beneath a butte, the possessed corpses of the Apocalyptian Stormtrooper and Joe Bester activate the primer charge of the Stellar Disruptor, leaving Earth in the Milky Way galaxy 120 seconds of existence. Okay, I have a lot of problems with this issue. First of all, why is the anti-life equation playing James Bond villain? Why is there a timer on these bombs at all? Why isn't it just flipping a switch and be like, boom, you're gone?
And then, I'm glad that, I like Starfire, I really do, but I'm glad she can time her, emergence from unconsciousness, to within seconds so that she can save the day, right?
Yeah, didn't it seem like they blew up that bomb at the very last second?
Yeah,
it's like, because she waited. It was like she waited, and it's like, you're not going to get a second shot at this. You better hope that works.
Yeah, I mean, and then
she's talking like, petrol and petroleum, and I'm just like, wait a minute, do they have that on her planet? I'm like, what are you, what? She's talking like a scientist. I'm like, that's not Starfire.
Yeah, I mean, it's two of the aspects, the Batman and the Superman seem to go well. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed to be well done, except for, of course, why not just boom, 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 boom? Why, just blow them up, right?
Yeah.
But the Rand one and the Zanshi one, just, they don't make a lot of sense,
And, oh my God. And the thing with this Superman, when he comes up and he sees Orion's killed all these Thanagarians, the universe is about to be destroyed and Superman's going to stop and bury the dead.
I know.
I'm like, really? I'm like, I could see like at the end of the last issue, if he comes back and we see him just like helping like the Thanagarians bury their dead and stuff at the end of the story. But I'm like, in the middle of this, of this, especially since you've been the most successful against these aspects.
Yep, exactly. Well, and it seems to me, if you're not Darkseid, you're not Superman, and you're not Batman, there's not much for you in this story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Forager gets to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
Orion,
And again, and also, if Superman's as disturbed by Orion as he seemed to be at the end of this issue, why isn't he going to Highfaller? It was like, this man has to answer for his crimes. You know how many people he slaughtered and he did not have to?
Yeah, and you have Batman killing somebody at the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
Which that's not Batman,
Yeah, I mean...
So, I don't think this is... The art, like I said, the art is great, but I don't think the story has held up very well.
That is Starlin Batman, though. Like, he'll kill in self-defense, like if... Which, again, I mean, he was about to be killed by that Apocalyptian Trooper. I mean, I can kind of hand-wave it. I get you. Batman doesn't kill, but I can kind of hand-wave that, but... And then and again, with the Superman thing, Highfather telling Martian Manhunter, oh yeah, go check on your friend. Yeah, we don't need you. We're in the middle of a crisis. Yeah, we don't need you. Go check on your friend. Unless he thought he was going to pull John out of this so he can help. I don't, but I'm just like.
Yeah, I mean.
It seems like Starlin was coming up with trying to come up with convenient excuses why, oh yeah, we're not going to see Superman for a while. We're not going to see Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter for a while.
I mean, and the anti-life is this sentient thing.
Yes. And again, I love Batman. I'm a big fan of Batman, but it's like, this is a cosmic crisis. We should be seeing Superman and Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter more than Batman in this story.
And Wonder Woman. And the Flash. And, I mean...
yeah.
It, like I said, it ill-uses John Stewart, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it ill-uses a lot of the characters that aren't Batman, Superman, or Darkseid. I mean, Orion is Orion. He doesn't seem to change much. He's just there. He's, Orion, right? Highfather is perpetually clueless, it seems like.
Yeah. And it's like, and then the whole thing on Ron where it's like, oh, Starfire, you stay here and watch over Adam Strange. Light Ray will find the aspect itself. It's like, I get it. You want to make sure Adam Strange is all right, but it's like if you don't stop this aspect, the Milky Way is going to collapse on itself. It's like I think
I may what's more important.
Take precedent. I mean, is Adam Strange breathing? Okay, let him go. Let him go.
Yeah. And Light Ray being outrun. You don't outrun Light Ray. He's literally like the god of speed, okay?
Yes, a god of speed, yes. I know.
I mean, that's just... back up. I almost forgot to mention something in number 1.
Yes.
Did you see who the ambassador that New Genesis sent to the U.S. was?
Who?
Lonar.
Oh, yeah.
And I assume that's his only appearance, or maybe he appeared somewhere else, but that's his only appearance that I know of before he was, used by Thorn in the latest.
Oh yeah. All right, should we wrap this up?
Let's wrap this up.
Oh yes. Looking at these notes, yes, and they even spell Corey, as Starfire Corey wrong in this issue with a C instead of a K.
Yes.
And even makes note, yes, Starfire's plan only just succeeds because they blow up that bomb at the exact last moments.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Okay, and if you hadn't figured out who Batman's mysterious ally was he sent to New Genesis, they spoil it on the cover of number 4.
Who could it be, Phil? Oh yeah, it's Dr. Fate.
Yeah, I know. I'm like. Because I saw the yellow covers, I'm like, okay, it's probably Dr. Fate. But then, you open up issue 4, and it's just like, okay, it is Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate, yeah.
All right, Cosmic Odyssey number 4, March 1989, book 4, Death. Same team. Hidden within a cave beneath a butte in Moose Jaw, Arizona, the timer on the last remaining stellar disruptor counts down to the destruction of the universe. The apocalyptian stormtrooper, possessed by the 4th anti-life aspect, fails to notice busy hands removing wires from the circuitry. The trooper and his accomplice, the deceased officer Joe Bester, stand in confusion as the timer reaches 0 with no result. Part of the heavy machinery suddenly topples over on top of the stormtrooper, pushed by Batman and Forager. The pair run...
Phil, there was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. Literally. Sorry.
This is why we don't set a timer on our universe-destroying devices, kids, because, someone can pull a red wire, and guess what?
Yeah. No earth-shattering kaboom.
Exactly. I love it. A device that can destroy the universe, and it's like, oh, I ripped a wire out of it. like it's not more advanced than, like, say, a nuclear reactor. It's like, oh, I pulled a wire out.
Yeah.
The machinery topples over, pushed by Batman and Forager. The pair run at Bester, but the formerly departed cop swats Batman away like he's nothing. Whereas Forager decapitates the man from behind with his shield to discover he's really a robot.
Where did that come from?
So we're going to destroy the universe. We could just have any human-looking robot. No. We're gonna make a robot of the guy we know we killed.
Exactly.
Oh my god. They have no time to reflect on the machine as the inhumanly strong stormtrooper frees himself from the 2-ton weight. The brute fractures the Cape Crusader's leg with ease and wraps his hands around Batman's throat until he starts to black out. Anyone enjoying that out there?
Sex on the mind. Batman, my favorite character.
In a dark pocket dimension, Darkseid and Etrigan stand before the imposing anti-life entity. The Roller of Apocalypse activates the switch on his dimensional harness, funneling enormous cosmic energy through the demonic conduit into himself and onward to ensnare the entity. In mere moments, Darkseid realizes the power of anti-life is unparalleled, and the entity reaches out for them. Darkseid is wise enough to know when to retreat and calmly attempts the dimensional recall, but to his aggravation, one of the 4 aspects has corrupted the harness from the other side. The aspect destroys the only tether to their dimension, and the 2 are left suspended in ether at the mercy of the entity. again, I'm sure we don't want the anti-life equation to win, but it's like, oh no, Darkseid's gone. Darkseid's been stranded. Oh no.
Boo-hoo.
I know. On New Genesis, the returned heroes scour the laboratory for the missing others, all worried about betrayal from Darkseid. Only Green Lantern has deeper concerns and skulks away from the others, consumed by guilt over the destruction of Xanshi. Yeah, the universe has been destroyed, but I'm going to go emo some more. Yeah. Before Batman loses all consciousness, he falls to the ground, saved by Forager, whose shield is embedded in the trooper's back. The victory is small, as he, too, is brushed aside with one hit, breaking his ribs. With his adversaries lying broken on the ground, the Aspect prepares the stellar disruptor. Incredulous that he faces his end at the hands of anti-life itself, Darkseid stands motionless as the entity tries to envelop him. But within the darkness, a light rescues both he and Etrigan from nothingness. They find themselves before their savior, fresh from the cover of this book, Dr. Fate, who has brought Father and Orion with him. Because why would we drag Superman in? Fate gathers the five of them together to form a sink of cosmic power, pulling all of their mystic energies to hold back the relentless entity. But even Fate knows this near omnipotent power can't hold back anti-life. With no other options, Dr. Fate is forced to resort to a mystic fire break, destroying the bridging dimension entirely, stopping the entity's advance into their own.
What? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get to that. No, I have thoughts on that. Back on New Genesis, the heroes are surprised by the sudden appearance of Dr. Fate and company. Furious at what Fate has done, Darkseid threatens the mage for ruining his ambitions, but quickly humbles himself when he assesses how outnumbered he is. With one tension diffused, Highfather reminds everyone that the fate of the galaxy still rests in the hands of Batman and Forager. The Doomsday Clock creeps down as Batman crawls desperately across the ground towards the device, only to be kicked away by the Aspect's hulking pawn. With precious 23 seconds left, Forager wills himself up and charges the enemy. He distracts the thug by throwing his shield between his legs before diving through the gaping cavity in its chest. He fends off the beast with no time to spare and smashes the control panel with his shield. The device explodes. Batman is astounded to be alive and quickly immobilizes to locate Forager in the debris, only to be shocked by what he uncovers. Batman reports back to New Genesis, requesting a new Aspect catcher. Light Ray and Superman, there he is, leave to aid Batman, whereas John Jones slips away to find the absent Green Lantern. Sitting alone, wallowing in regret, John Stewart takes an alien firearm from a display cabinet. A yellow one, mind you.
Yes.
Which I'm assuming just because the gun's painted green, it will shoot a green projectile.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. He removes his ring and gives it strict instructions to travel 20 light years away and wait for him to call it back. If he doesn't contact it within an hour, he orders it to locate Hal Jordan. Which someone else, since any of the others should have done this story. The ring departs, and with it too far away to instinctively protect him, John raises the gun to his temple. From behind the corner, John morbidly watches the Green Lantern struggle with his conscience. When John lowers the weapon, the Martian enters the room and seemingly goads the wretched man into committing suicide, but John knows exactly what Stewart needs to hear. The belittling only fuels the Green Lantern's defiant will, and he summons his ring back before storming out of the room, leaving a content Jean behind him. A thunderous boom announces the return of Batman, Superman, and Light Ray, carrying the body of Forager. Everyone gathers around the corpse as Batman explains how Forager gave his life to save Earth and the universe. Orion makes a snide backhanded compliment to the Bug, and Batman angrily lashes out and punches him in the face. Man, everyone gets that punch. Causing a moody Orion to turn his back on them all. As the heroes prepare to return home, Light Ray notices Darkseid has sneaked away, with Highfather adding that the Aspect Catchers are also missing. On Apocalypse, Darkseid makes peace with his failures, congratulating himself on the smaller victory of obtaining a fragment of pure anti-life. On New Genesis, Highfather approaches Orion, asking him to accompany Forager's remains back to the Insect Empire. Upon inquiring why, Highfather quite plainly explains that it may teach him some tolerance. And we'll just sweep that, all those dead bodies, all those murders you just committed under the rug.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, this has not aged well.
yes. And Ray, you're welcome. Yes, Batman breaks his tibia and his fibula. So
Yeah. And his ribs.
Yes.
And he's,
but he's still strong enough to knock a god on his ass.
Because he's Batman.
He broke ribs. His leg is like shattered, but he could still knock a new god down. Okay. Orion, who can fight Superman like hand to hand, right?
Yeah, I mean, punching him would be like punching a brick wall, right?
I mean, if nothing else, shouldn't he just Orion not move? I mean, he still could have humiliated him, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh, he didn't move. Okay.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, Superman was all mad enough that Orion for about killing all those standard guardians that he had to stay and bury the bodies in the middle of a crisis. But now we're just going to forget all that.
Yeah.
All right. And this dimension, yeah. And this bridging dimension, Dr. Fate destroyed. Was there life there? I mean, if it was lifeless, okay, fine. But it's like, was there life there? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
fine. If it was empty and lifeless, good for you. But
yeah, I mean, and how do you destroy an entire? You know what?
Magic.
It doesn't matter.
Magic will. And again, it's like, if there were any kind of life there, shouldn't we be like?
Didn't Dr. Fate just murder a bunch of people?
A whole universe?
Yeah, a whole dimension full of people.
It's gonna make like what Orion did look like shoplifting. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't even mention. I mean,
Yeah.
Superman was all mad at Orion. I mean, we're not even gonna question Dr. Fate.
I had good memories of this for when I read it, like 35 years ago, 34 years ago, whenever it was, a long time ago.
But now you see the plot holes and you drive a truck through.
Yeah, it just doesn't hold up. I mean, and first off, okay, hey, they stopped me because they beat the countdown. I'm going to rebuild it with another countdown.
The final countdown.
And, I mean, yeah.
And again, I mean, if this entity is so powerful that Darkseid needs help stopping it, does it need bombs to do its thing? Shouldn't it have like its own power? Shouldn't it be able to do this under its own power?
Well, it's anti, so it can't be in our universe. It destroys itself or something, but then he's trying to make it so that just killing 4 suns would cause the Milky Way to become unbalanced. Yeah, right. That's not happening. Anyway, but then it crashes and then it's I don't know. It's nonsensical and that's.
And again, it just bugs me. Why did we only pick a certain amount of heroes? It's like, yeah, John Stewart. Why didn't you bring along Guy Gardner and Hal Jordan? I mean,
and Kilowog and the rest of the Corps.
I mean, we had at least Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner in Invasion. They had at least 2 Green Lanterns, and it was just like an alien invasion.
Yeah, I mean, and why weren't all of them painted yellow? Did they know that John was going to this one? How did they know? I mean,
and why only a certain number of heroes? If you're gonna bring in Starfire, why don't you bring in Raven?
If you're gonna bring in Batman, why not bring in Flash, Hawkman, other Green Lanterns, the Teen Titans, or are they the New Titans at this point? I don't remember.
How about Mr. Miracle, who's from New Genesis?
Exactly,
Mr. Miracle and Big Barda.
I mean. I don't know. This was kind of a disappointing week. Yeah.
We really doubled up on the disappointment. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, again, I mean, the newer issues were at least that first one was based off of, oh yeah, hey, John's going to redeem himself because he let that planet die.
Yeah, but
it just seems so out of character. It's like, shouldn't John have gotten a parallax moment where it's like, yeah, something, maybe the anti-life or something was messing with his head, and that's why he was all acting Guy Gardner-ish?
Yeah, I mean, did that, him failing, did that completely destroy that character? Because everybody since then has been trying to deal with it. Either they just don't talk about it, or...
Or again, too, it's like, it's that on top of his wife just died, and then he's going to get his mind messed with by the old timer. And then, hey, he's a guardian. Oh, hey, we're just going to ignore that. Then it's, then Then he gets paralyzed. Then he gets better.
Yeah, now he's got a ring again.
Yeah.
And then we get rebirth. Yeah, Xanshi has become his defining characteristic.
Yeah, in the
not,
story,
not his intelligence, not his will, not his. Oh yeah, he's the Green Lantern that let a whole planet die.
Which is kind of ironic because this story, he probably acts the least John Stewart-ish in this story, and it's become his defining moment.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But part of me wants to take what Thorne has done, that Xanshi from Hypertime and Katmatui and that John, and bring him back to the main universe and have him merge with the other John that he created.
Mm-hmm.
And there, Xanshi is fixed. It's okay. It's good. We don't have to mention it again. It's been dealt with. He's done his penance. It's fixed.
And you get some kind of Green Lantern story out of, oh, hey, all of a sudden Xanshi's back. So isn't that going to upset like gravitational pulls and forces in the universe? And
I honestly, I don't know that I see this story referred to a lot.
No, only about the whole John Stewart let a planet die. That's
Xanshi.
it.
Yep, that's totally it.
Because
that Orion killed a whole crap ton of Thanagarians, or
before this reread, it had been many, many years since I read this, and the only thing I could really remember is, oh yeah, hey John, Martian Manhunter was there when John let a planet die. Mm-hmm. I didn't remember any of the rest of this.
Yeah, I think probably for a reason.
Yeah, and again, it's just like, I get it. Like if there were talks, like was this supposed to be Guy Gardner, and then you had to replace him with John Stewart, but it's like. Mm-hmm. Then maybe change a little bit of the writing, some of the dialogue,
Well, and, Starlin's a better writer than this, I feel like.
Was it a rush job, or was it just editorial interference in some things?
I mean, because...
I wonder, too, again, since maybe it was just like, maybe the certain characters were picked because it's like, you had to get, like, permit... I think this happens sometimes where it's like, especially then, you had to get, approval from the people writing them. Yeah. It's like you have to go to the Superman team. Okay, you can use Superman. And I think this was when Starlin was writing Batman, so of course he's like, hey, I can use Batman. So maybe he wanted Guy Gardner. Like, no, you can't have Guy Gardner. You already got Martian Manhunter, and that's gonna change that whole dynamic between them, and that ain't your book. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Titans. Who can I have? I can have Starfire.
I mean, I really feel like this story did lasting damage. I mean, it's 35 years later, right? It did lasting damage that a lot of writers have tried to use and have built on to make. I mean, John is an interesting character, but I mean, this is always hanging over his head.
Yeah,
and I think what Thorne was trying to do was to use it so that it stops overshadowing. I mean, because this overshadows John's character.
Yeah.
If you don't know about it, they don't, and nobody mentions it, then John is John.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's made mistakes. He hasn't made mistakes. Whatever. He's a Green Lantern, and he's really good. He's but to do this to that character, not even in his own book, which would have been the Green Lantern core book, I think, at the time, right?
Was the core book again? I think
was this pre-200?
No. This was after 200. This was Action Comics Weekly. This might have been coming
so
towards
the core book was already canceled.
Yeah. No, they're not even in their own book. This is Action Comics Weekly's going on.
Yes, they killed his wife, and then
and then there was those like Green Lantern specials. I think before #1 comes.
Yeah, he did. He was in like one or two of those, I think.
Yeah, because it was like, what was it? He was in a prison. Was it in South Africa or something?
It was South Africa, yeah.
Yeah, when Hal brings him a ring, and he's just like, it's you got 24 hours to decide, either break out and become a hero again, or just wallow here.
Yeah, God, it's been a long time since I've read that one.
I know. We did it like in the beginning of this podcast, like probably like third week or something, but.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. Because I think that's what we did. We did early Hal Jordan, then we did I think we did the end, the end of the core book and Action Comics Weekly and those specials, and
then jumped into
#1. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because
is
the only thing that's ever referenced about Cosmic Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
Banshee. I mean, nothing else. Starfire was there. Did you remember that Starfire was there? I didn't remember that Starfire was there.
Oh.
Did you? Or Light Ray? Or Forager? Do you remember Forager dying there? I don't remember that.
The other thing I really remembered was like Superman, Batman. They were in it, but I really didn't remember what happened.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, do any of the Superman writers want to bring up that he was in this? Because again, it's like, oh, he was all mad the Thanagarians died, but then after issue 3, nothing comes of it.
And I'm going to bring up a nitpicky point that really I kind of laughed a little bit when I saw. Apparently, Batman drove to Arizona. See the Batmobile was outside the place where he had Forager. I'm like, seriously?
Unless he flew.
The universe could end, and you're going to drive.
Unless he flew it out. I don't know.
Yes, unfortunately, this the art was great. Big fan of. But
so I'm guessing Starlin wasn't familiar with John, maybe, or
I don't know. But this definitely did a disservice to Green Lantern.
Oh yeah.
And as a whole, and particularly John Stewart, his character.
Yeah.
I feel like. And
again, with that yellow bomb thing, he acted surprised. It's like, oh no, how did they know? Like a Green Lantern's weakness is yellow. I'm like, isn't that like a
Everybody knows.
Isn't that a known thing? Yeah.
Crooks on Earth throw yellow lamps.
Yes.
Come on. Yeah, I mean.
And again, it's like if it's not Guy Gardner type, it's like. It's either he's acting like Guy Gardner, or it's like this would be John as like, the angry young black man, he was like 5 minutes after he got the ring. It's like,
and he hasn't been.
No, this is how he would have been when he first got the ring before he even replaced Hal full time. It's like, no.
Well, and I feel like Starlin said, hey, let's do this to this character. How do you bring a character back from that? Right. And apparently
you don't, because it's still referenced to this day.
Apparently, his way of bringing him back was to have him try to commit suicide, but then stop and then get goaded into, defiance by John Jones.
Yeah. Was John in his mind like saying, "Oh, hey, if I goad him, it's gonna make him stop," or was he taking a huge gamble and is like, "Yeah, go ahead, do it"?
I think he was. I don't think he was in his mind.
Okay.
I think the ring would have. Well,
no, he told that
ring
to
have the
take
ring.
a hike.
The ring to go away. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. He either read his mind or he was just like, I'm going to gamble.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, to do this to a character and then not have a path forward or path back, it's just...
Well, yeah, like you said, 35 years later, and they still talk about it.
Yeah.
That's one of the only things they talk about John Stewart.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
I guess it's like... I guess Starlin wanted one of the teams to fail, but it's like... Yeah, you really mess with whoever the Green Lantern was, you really mess with them. But I guess it's like, out of all the teams, is Superman going to fail? Probably not.
Batman? No.
Company policy, you didn't let Batman fail.
Yeah.
I mean...
You're not going to destroy Planet Ran because Adam Strange.
Yeah. I guess just it has to be John because like the ring will protect him in Martian Manhunter, I guess. Because if you blow up Starfire, there's nothing to protect them, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, it feels poorly conceived to turn, a hero.
Yeah.
Have them make a mistake that literally causes, I think he said millions of people, millions of deaths, right?
Why is it, when we get the rebirth in less than 9 weeks now, why did we have to give Hal Jordan an excuse why he went nuts in Emerald Twilight, but we've never given John Stewart an excuse why he acted out of character and let Xanshi die?
I don't know. I mean...
They didn't want Hal to be responsible for that body count, but they sure as hell let John Stewart
exactly
pay that tab.
Which is annoying. It's very annoying.
I know. Especially when he was so out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it would have worked better with Guy Gardner, but again, yeah.
That would have destroyed JLI and that dynamic and all that.
Again,
stuff, yeah.
Do you think John, if that had been Guy Gardner, would Martian Manhunter still been on that team? Would he have gone to like Max Lord or someone and be like, either you get rid of him or I'm gone?
Yeah, they would have hand waved it away or something. I mean, who knows? Yeah. And and why? If you want to use a Green Lantern, use an alien Green Lantern. Make this Kilowog. Right?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think who had rings left. Was it just like the three Earth guys and Kilowog, or?
Didn't Chip and Salak And
what didn't their rings get depowered after, like, was it at the end of 224 or whatever? Did they lose their rings at that point? I can't remember.
I thought there was like 5 or 6, because Kappa had a ring that worked, I thought, which makes her getting killed by Star Sapphire even more.
Did her ring work? Because I was
insane.
like, why? I mean, I guess maybe if she wasn't wearing it, but I was like, how did she get killed then? Because
Yeah, I mean,
and then what happened to that ring?
Yeah,
Yeah, because
I don't know.
because doesn't the battery get like mostly destroyed in 224? And like I thought most of the rings were depowered
Most
except
of the
for a
ring-
few. Yeah.
Well, when they started the core on Earth, that's where Kilowog showed up. So all the rings everywhere were people just doing their job.
Well, yeah. After 200, yeah, there was the
Yeah.
the Guardians were basically like, yeah, Green Lanterns protect the universe however you see
Yeah.
fit, and then
In 224, the battery, you're right, kind of imploded or deconstructed or something, and then there was only like 7 or 9 rings, I thought.
it
I
was
don't know.
something. Here, hold on, I'm looking this up. I mean, we're bad. We didn't. How creates a prison? The power battery still stands, no longer able to generate new rings, but still with enough green energy to sustain the remaining power rings. Oh yeah, because weren't some of them disappearing or something?
I can't remember. Yeah, I need to reread those issues.
Oh, it says. Oh yeah, it wasn't Chip. It says Chip was one of the few remaining Green Lanterns. Yeah, because I think Salak might have. Did Salak lose the ring? Maybe. Yeah, it's weird because it says right from Green Lantern 224. They next appear in Action Comics 601.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the Green Lanterns, their rings were disappearing. I don't know. But yeah, again, you had at least 3 Green Lanterns you could have used instead of 1. Well, 4.
Exactly.
Kilowog had a ring, right?
Yeah. And not only that, Wonder Woman, she's kind of a heavy hitter.
After the reboot, did they really know her that well at this point? I don't. That's why I was
true.
like, I could see maybe not calling her, but the Justice League, the Titans,
Captain Marvel.
yeah, Captain Atom,
Captain Atom.
Firestorm.
Booster Gold. I mean, hey, he can travel in time. So, hey, 4 seconds left, no problem.
Exactly. Or the Flash, who can do how much in that 4 seconds?
Exactly. I mean, it's almost like a character assassination of John, because this is not John Stewart.
No.
That appeared in this story, and to have the only thing from this story be the destruction of Xanshi and have that hung around his neck for the last 35 years it's not awesome.
They wanted a hero, and again, this wasn't John Stewart. This was more like Martha Stewart.
But well, we've now seen it and we've talked about it.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, there's some other story flashed through my head. I was like, oh, we should have to get to that again. Something. What was I just thinking about? I don't know. I'm sure it'll come to me 5 minutes after we sign off. All right. So I know what you're waiting for, Will. You want to know what we do next week?
What are we doing next week, Phil?
All right. Let me open the hand schedule here, if it ever opens. All right. So yes, next week. Oh yeah, of course. Green Lantern 158 through 161. Oh, and then in 2 weeks, JLA Avengers, the second part of that crossover that we're doing with Marvel
All right,
Tales.
awesome.
Yes. So we'll be able to wash the taste of Cosmic Odyssey out of our mouth in 2 weeks with some JLA Avengers.
That sounds great.
Good story, good art.
Mhm.
By the master, yes. And then yeah, it's pretty much just straight Green Lantern until the rest of the Green Lanterns of this series, that JSA arc, and then Rebirth.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
But yeah, the week after that, the JLA Avengers. That's the Green Lantern Green Arrow crossover. Although except this time it's Cal and Oliver Queen, not Connor Hawke.
Yeah, I mean, how many times are they going to cross over these books?
I'm trying to remember. That might be. I wonder if that's when Winnick takes. That might be when Winnick's. That might be when he starts writing Green Arrow too. So that might be also him jumping off too.
Gotcha.
I forget. I think it's like intergalactic drug dealers or something. I don't know. I can't remember, but I think it's something like that. All right. So yes, thank you, kids. Thank you for joining us for this extra long episode. So
Where we are disappointed by Cosmic Odyssey.
I mean, look how much content we got out of stuff we didn't like this week, Will.
Yeah, I know. I want to get back to stuff we do like, though.
Yes. All right, kids. So, yes, so send us your thoughts next week, Green Lantern 158 through 161. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And again, you can send your thoughts on Cosmic Odyssey. We'll read them next time or the time after. But we'll read it so you don't have to.
That's right.
All right. And again, once again, now easy one-stop shopping. If you want episodes, videos, you should go watch that Todd Stashwick. We'll listen to the podcast, watch the video. He does have a pretty impressive, he said he didn't want to call it a man cave. It's a nerd lair or something, but yes. I guess my son was impressed. He's like, is that Pac-Man back there? He had like an arcade game. I was like, probably. I said, you know what? He goes, is that an arcade game back there? And I said, son, that's TV money. He's like, yeah, probably. I'm like, yeah, that's TV money. All right. So yes, for everything, go to tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. It'll be in the show notes. So you don't have to memorize it. But yes. All right. Mr. Will Allred, Master of the Core, Master of the Quantum Zone, Master of the brand new Kickstarter, crossover division, or Kickstarter, and podcasting. Where can people get a hold of you?
You can find me at Wallred. That's at WALLRED, and Twitter, Gmail, Facebook. I need to start posting to Instagram probably, and other places out there, I'm sure. If you want to read any of the comics that I write, you can go to crossoverdivision.com and check out Crossover Division, which number 4 is being mailed out as we speak after our successful Kickstarter. You can also check out Diary of Night at diaryofnight.com. And Phil is not the only podcaster that I annoy on a weekly basis. There's also fellow writer Kevin Joseph of the comic Tart. What we do is talk to Kickstarter comics creators every Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, and they explain themselves, which is the name of the podcast, Explain Yourself, and talk about their projects that are live on Kickstarter or other crowdfunding platforms as well. And finally, you obviously have great taste because you're here listening to us, so that means you love Quasar. If you want to find out more about Quasar, you can do that at the Quantum Zone, quantumzone.org.
5 Izzy.
I'll put it in my name.
Oh, and if you love the Quantum Zone, as we know Ray does, yes, the March episode of our Patreon, we're gonna do a brand new Quantum Zone episode with Matt Kona. So yes, so you will.
Who is this Matt Kona you speak of?
Oh, the man that brought you such hits as.
See you later, bunkies.
When he gives me his bone. Suck it, Lilith. The yin to Darkhawk's yang. It's a bit of a heel turn.
That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Suck it, Lilith.
Slow down. We need this for drops.
One of my personal favorites.
And I'm visiting nursing homes with bad intentions.
From an issue of Quasar number 18. That's when we were talking about that.
Sparkly quantum tentacles?
I believe that was Quasar 6. Yeah, when he ties up Venom in 2 pages.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So yes, thank you for joining us, kids. And again, Will, you do not annoy me. Cosmic Odyssey annoys me.
Me too.
Again, thank you for joining us. Again, we'll be back next week, and so will Kyle Rayner.
We hope.
Well, I believe we see what he's up to in space. I can't remember. It's been a while, such a long time since I read these. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see him off in space now. Space.
Pigs in space.
So I was gonna say, if we ever run out of content, yeah, because John Stewart starts showing up in JLA. I mean, we have how many JLA issues we can do with either Kyle or John.
That's true. But that might put off Rebirth. So
yes. All right, kids, come back next time, and remember, watch out for those yellow appliances. Good night.
Exactly.